The SUV with me is big, it's imposing, and it's here to take on the Toyota Fortuner and Ford Endeavour. Meet Mahindra's new flagship SUV, the Alturas G4. Alturas translates to heights, and Mahindra clearly wants to scale new heights in the market with this SUV. Think it has the right stuff for the job? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, do subscribe to the Autocar India channel. The Alturas G4 is Mahindra's version of the 4th gen SsangYong Rexton. But where the last gen Rexton was marketed as a SsangYong, the new model proudly wears the Mahindra badge. The toothy grille is typical Mahindra fare, but that's the only point of difference between the Alturas G4 and the international Rexton. The Alturas matches its rivals on size, so this is a big SUV. And it has that butch look buyers in the segment like. The design is brawny yet sophisticated. The HID headlights with the LED DRLs are neatly detailed, the large wheel arches add loads of visual mass to the SUV, and it's neatly styled at the rear too. This is a well turned out SUV. Of the things to bring up, some might find the 18-inch wheels to look a size too small. Also, while the chunky D-pillar adds solidity to the design, the windows for the third row passengers are really small. And like fellow body-on-frame SUVs, the Alturas also sits high up, and the absence of a footboard means you'll need a big step into the cabin. When you do open the door, the driver's seat will automatically slide back to aid ingress, and it is a cool welcome gesture. And there's more of the good stuff on the inside. It's quite a trek into the Alturas cabin, but once you're seated, you'll actually find the view both outside and inside is rather good. On the inside, everything is really well laid out. It feels like a premium SUV, but what really makes the difference is the level of quality. Sure, there is a few hard plastics here and there, like over here, but largely everything is soft to the touch, feels premium. The seats look rich, they're really comfortable, and what about this quilted leather effect on the dashboard? That's something you really see on far more expensive SUVs. The impressive quality is just one part of the story. Mahindra has also given the Alturas G4 plenty of kit. There's a first-in-segment 360-degree surround view camera that is a big help when parking the Alturas. The Mahindra is also the first SUV in the segment to get ventilated front seats. Also part of the package is an 8-way power adjustable driver's seat with memory, electric parking brake, dual zone climate control and ambient lighting. The 8-inch touchscreen works fine and does feature Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. There's also a 7-inch screen in the instruments binnacle that gives a whole lot of info including tire pressures, and also has the option of changing the theme of the display. Quite cool. A sunroof is also part of the features list, though it's not a panoramic unit. The Alturas does go the distance in safety with a class-leading 9 airbags. ABS, ESP and active rollover protection are also part of the kit. The fact that the Alturas got a 5-star rating in the Korean NCAP is also very reassuring. Let's switch focus to the rest of the Alturas cabin and talk of the middle row. The middle row of the Alturas G4 has loads and loads of space. Just look at this. I'm nearly 6 feet tall and just see how much legroom and knee room I have. There's lots of width as well, so fitting 3 adults will not be a problem. The seat itself is really comfortable, and as an added advantage, you can adjust the backrest recline to your liking. If there's one thing to bring up, it would be this hump in the roof to accommodate the sunroof mechanism that might eat up into headroom for taller occupants. And what of the third row? Seating in the third row is not the best, but is reasonable by class standards. The seating position is a bit awkward, headroom is also limited, but what really takes away from the experience is this big mass of black plastic on the sides. The windows are really small and give you that cooped-in feeling. Boot space is fair. The powered tailgate opens to reveal some usable room with all seats up. Fold the last row down and you'll free up serious room for luggage. Do note the loading lip is very high, so you'll need some serious strength to lift those heavy suitcases. Now let's talk the heart of the matter, the Alturas engine. The Alturas comes powered by a SsangYong 4-cylinder 2.2-litre diesel engine. The single variable geometry turbo unit in current BS4 avatar makes 180 horsepower at 4000 RPM and 420 Newton meters of torque between 1600 to 2600 RPM. The power and torque figures are midway between the Endeavour 2.2 and 3.2s and very similar to what the Fortuner's 2.8-litre diesel engine produces. The Alturas engine comes mated to a Mercedes-sourced 7-speed automatic unit. Note, Mahindra will not offer a manual on the Alturas. So, what's the big Mahindra like to drive? One of the first things that you'll notice when you get behind the wheel of the Alturas is the level of refinement. The engine is quiet and doesn't really make much of a fuss of the power and performance it has to offer. Road noise is also well contained, as is wind noise, so it's a fairly nice and refined experience. The engine's power characteristics are also quite relaxed. The Alturas engine does make a reasonable amount of power, but it's not got that spike in power delivery that we've just come to expect from large turbo diesel engines. The power delivery and build-up of power is quite linear. It's not exciting, but really, it gets the job done. The Altura's 7-speed gearbox plays its role well, but there are no paddle shifters. Manual shifts are only via small buttons on the gear lever. The Alturas is built on a new frame and the body uses a generous dose of rigid and relatively light high-strength steel. Still, the 4-wheel drive Alturas tips the scale at 2150 kgs and you can feel the bulk in the corners. This is a big SUV and you really feel its size when you're driving in tight confines or when you have to pull off a U-turn. Even when you're driving on a winding road, you feel that you're behind the wheel of something really large. The steering is light, it's not got that real good sense of connection. So on the whole, this is not really an SUV that you'd want to hustle around the bends. A quick word in on ride comfort. The roads within Ambi Valley are really smooth, so it wouldn't be fair to give a definite verdict on the Altura's ride comfort. However, on the few bumps, it does tend to feel a bit lumpy, something which we've seen and experienced on other ladder frame chassis SUVs like the Fortuner as well. It's no Endeavour at high speeds, but does hold its own on broken patches. The Alturas will be available in a lower trim 2-wheel drive version, but the full spec model we are driving has quite a few off-road goodies. Unfortunately, in the limited time we've had with the Alturas, we've not had a chance to take it off-road, but you will be happy to know that it's got loads of ground clearance. There's a rotary selector for the shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive system, and there is also low range. There's also hill start assist and hill descent control, so it's got the right ingredients. We can't wait to spend more time with the Alturas G4 to test it in more everyday conditions and also see how it fares off-road. But the first impression of Mahindra's flagship is positive. It looks good outside and in, is well equipped, drives fine, and pricing also promises to be competitive by class standards. The last gen Rexton didn't quite make a mark, but by the look of things, the Alturas G4 is set to take over the mantle as a proper alternative to the Ford Endeavour and Toyota Fortuner.